Hello everyone, I would like to welcome you today for a new episode of the International Commentary. Today we're going to speak about Greece with our colleague Kyriakos Taratitas. As we all know, Greece is slowly recovering from the economic crisis, but is now facing a lot of new challenges, such as the housing crisis due to the tourism partly, some social inequalities, but also the migration crisis because you are the southern border of European Union, some tension with your neighbors, especially Turkey. So there is as we all see from abroad, a lot of tension in Greece, a lot of challenges, political polarization, the rise of extreme rights. What could you tell us about the recent change in Greece political parties and political situation?
Thank you, Geoffrey, for giving the opportunity to express some views regarding the modern politics in Greece. I would like to make a short introduction, brief introduction for those who are not aware and not well equipped with modern politics in Greece. So the political landscape in Greece, especially after 2010, was shaped with polarization, as in the past for over 40 years there was a polarization between the two parties, because actually we had two-party system. It was from one hand it was PASOK, while on the other hand was New Democracy. And after 2010, that some other left parties emerged. So after 2010, while the situation was getting worse and was getting worse, then the new parties that emerged tried to stabilize the situation, the political situation. So there was effect in economy, there was effect in politics, in social, as you correctly said, social inequalities, political trust. The weak institutions also played a major role. The ideologies also they were reformed. And the polarization somehow started to be eliminated. So actually from since 2000, I would say 19 to 20, after the elections of 2019, the situation is getting stabilized, and I see differences compared to what we experienced from 2010 until 2019, I would say.
That is, as I guess, partly due to the fact that the winning party automatically wins 50 seats in the parliament, right?
That was the case because they had the majority. Right now, there were some talks about removing this law, because as you can understand, the party was getting the majority, automatically was getting 50 seats, and these 50 seats could have the possibility to give you fully majority, so full power in a parliamentary regime. As we are, so
that's still like useful tool.
It's useful tool to get majority, while you are very close to the percent of majority. It's a useful tool to
stabilize what you said, because it was like very chaotic.
Because you will not need any other opinion of deputies. You'll just need your deputies to approve what law you're bringing on the parliament.
So after 2019, as you say, the Right Party is in charge, right?
Exactly.
For 6 years now. There is still 2 years. Do you believe, what can you tell us about the potential return of left parties in Greece? Is it possible or not?
I think after 2010, where, as I said before, where the leftist parties emerged, the people and the voters, they were in the beginning, they were really satisfied with the fact that the two major parties that they were after 1974 until 2010, they were kind of eliminated. They weren't so powerful as they were. So the leftist party of Syriza that emerged gained a lot of voters. However, there were some incidents. For example, the management of European funds, the situation and the relation that they had with the European Union, and also with monetary fund institution, that actually I would say made them to lose a lot of voters. And we can see that these voters, when they were lost, they have the tendency to get either to central parties or even in the right party. So I would say that Syriza, especially after 2000, after the last elections, when they lost, they were dissolved. So it was the second party. I mean, it was the opposition party. After losing the elections, they were dissolved. They were dissolved in the beginning. They were dissolved into three major parties. But then, as you can understand, the voters, they were divided into three parts. So they couldn't, let's say, collect. They couldn't collect a decent amount of opposition. So they were split. And as you can imagine, that was the perfect spark for the governmental party to get more and more voters when you see that your opposition is split. So I would say also that the party of PASOK, who was the leading opposition party against the government, they have lost the ideology. They have lost the figures that they had in the past, because in the past they had a magnificent figure who was leading the party, and he was the party. Right now, when they changed also the name, PASOK Kinal. They made major differences. So in case of bringing back the leftists, I think the leftist parties should find common ground to build up their relation, to unite their differences, and let's say combat against the central right. And for me, as I can see, especially lately, I would say the last 2-3 years, the leftist party are voting are aiming mostly not in the ideology, not in policies, but they are targeting on their personal shaping of figures. They are egocentric, so they are focusing on the person. They are focusing on the personal development of the figure and not of the party. And that's exactly why they cannot have stable voters. And that's why we see in elections that the voters flow to the left, to the right, to the center, and even to the extreme right or extreme left. And I would like also to show you some maps where they reflect my words. As we can see here on the map, that was the Greek election final results in 2015. As you can see, the first party is the leftist party, Syriza, who now has been dissolved. As you can see, out of 52 regions, they had the majority, and they collected 35% in 2015. After incidents of the bad management, I would say the bad management with European funds, and also the problem that we had with the country of North Macedonia and the name, where they signed. Because before North Macedonia, the name of this country was Fyrom, former Yugoslavia Republic of Macedonia, and most Greek people they weren't fully satisfied, but they were feeling blessed that the word former Yugoslavian Republic was into this name. After 2019, 1 month before the election, the leader of this party signed a treaty in this part close to the borders with North Macedonia. He signed a treaty where he established the word Macedonia in their name, and actually that's what happened. That's what caused the loss of voters in the next elections. Here, the vote, you can see 2019 Greek general election. You can see how the map has been totally reformed. Out of 52 regions, we see that less than 10 are more or less 10 regions are remained red, and as you can see, most of them they are blue. It was the opposition party of New Democracy that they collected almost 40%. That was in 2019, and we are coming to the last elections of 2023, where, as you can see, all the regions except one was blue. It is a place where there is a Muslim minority there, so Syriza collected around 20%. So as we can see, the maps illustrate the the reality of how the leftist parties, because of 2-3 bad management, they lost a lot of voters, and also a lot of percent consequently. So it's very hard for me to say that the leftists could return in power unless they find some common ground to fight against the right.
Okay, sure. What you were telling about the difficulties of left Greece to be unified, and the fact that they are mainly concentrating on one important figure reminds me similar cases in France, which, for example, Emmanuel Macron is also in this problematic that he is the person, and is the party gonna survive after him? That's the question. So, as you say, the left is somehow struggling to be a structural opposition, but at the same time, we are seeing a rise of extreme right parties. For example, I know that abroad the Golden Dawn was very famous for their ideology, their symbol, etc., which are controversial, I would say. Do you think that in the upcoming years, especially since 2020, these extreme right parties could become the true opposition to the regular right? And in the upcoming years, for example, 2027, your next election, we could see like a true opposition between two shapes of rights, or not?
In my personal perspective, I think that since far right is rising in Greece, I would say that it's very possible to see this opposition even in the next elections. And just take it from the beginning. You mentioned Golden Dawn. Golden Dawn, it rise during crisis, and as you can imagine, that was that happened because a lot of voters, they were truly dissatisfied with the management of the previous governments and the terms how they handle some social issues. And actually, after 2020, when the government actually convicted Golden Dawn as a terrorist group, the party was eliminated. They were kicked out of the parliament. However, the sentiment of far right remained, and what they did, it was just they changed the name to Spartans, and that party was running under the leadership of the Golden Dawn president, who is in jail for some actions, controversial actions. So we see in the current politics that the far right is rising more and more, and I would say that the sentiment, even though there was conviction from the government to the party of Golden Dawn, we see that more far right parties are rising, and I think the cause is pretty similar to all of the cases all around the international politics, the anxiety, the migration, the fear of migration. I would say the danger, how they perceive the danger. Is also the distrust to the mainstream parties, how to handle some issues, especially with European Union, and also the nepotism that is connected to politics, to services. I would say also the high rate of corruption in services, and also the sentiment that they are trying to focus. That is the religion, because religion plays, I would say, if not the most important role in Greece, the second most important role in Greece, especially in the voter, the tradition, the religion. So
after the economy.
Especially after the economy.
No, but I mean the second role after the economy.
After the economy, yeah, definitely. So I will say that the far right parties now, it's just a mix of nationalism, religion, anti-elitism, anti-nepotism. They're trying to fight against corruption. So I would say it's a mix. So for me, it's very possible that we can see far right parties in the next election to be the opposition parties. And just to mention, for the time being, we have 3 far right parties in our parliament, and one party. I think in the next election will be also in parliament, because they lost for a slight percent they didn't qualify, let's say, to enter to join the parliament. So I would say in the next elections, I think we'll have 4 far right parties. So if they decide to collaborate, I think they will make a decent percent and they can fight against the government.
So you predict like a strong opposition between the regular right and the extreme right?
Hard to say, but I think I think it can happen. I think the far right parties, if decide to collaborate, then the leftists will not have the same chance with far right, because the far right is getting higher with different pace than the leftists. The leftists cannot find common ground because the leftist ideology in Greece have been lost. So they are focusing not in leftist ideology, but just because they are anti-government. So this is not exactly what leftist ideology was established.
So we could maybe see in 2 years a similar configuration as in Portugal, like the regular right as the government party and a very strong extreme right opposition, which is right now in Portugal at the same level as the traditional left. So
exactly, I think it could be possible because there are 2 years, and as some recent polls have shown, the far right parties are getting more and more percent, while the dissolved party of Syriza is getting lower and lower, and there is just stabilized percent of PASOK around 10 to 14% around there, while the far right parties are getting higher.
So in this context, we understand well why in Greece you have this tool of having instantly 50 seats when you win the election, because in the context of 3 partization, that's what happens between extreme right, left, and regular right. Without these 50 seats, it will be impossible for Greece to be managed, to be governing, etc. We see it actually in Portugal. They are literally struggling to make a coalition because obviously the regular right do not want to work with the left and the extreme right. So, any final thought?
My final thought would be that I just see that after 2019, 2020, especially after COVID, we see that the country is getting getting stabilized. The polarization is not that high so far, I would say, according to the election results. So I see that I not predict, but I will say that I believe the term of the government will be preserved for 1 more election at least. So I think that the next election they will collect high percent. The opposition parties definitely will be reshaped, but I think the government will stay in power for at least 1 more term.
Okay, so rendezvous in 2 years to have a second commentary.
Exactement.
Thank you very much. So that's the end of this episode. I thank you for your attentions, and I tell you, see you soon. Thank you.
Thank you.